How's it going? It's Warren here, and in this video I'm going to show you how I use meta ads to get leads and results for clients in the lead gen space. A little bit about me. So I've spent over 5 million on just lead gen ads on Meta alone across hundreds of clients. I'll show exactly how to run these ad campaigns, the key essential frameworks, why most fail, and how you can have success with your clients. And some of my handles here, I have a free skill community I'll touch on at the end of the video. You can reach out to me on Twitter and Instagram as well if you have any questions. So the essential frameworks essentially for how you are going to, or how I will get leads for my clients in the lead gen space. So who is your dream avatar? All right. Where do they live? What do they look like? What do they do? Where do they hang out? Right. So you want to identify who they are. Okay. Now, what are you doing for them? It's always about what's in it for them and what are you going to help them with? What have you got for them? So a clear offer, a strong offer will get you 75% of the way there. And then why? Why are you helping them? Why should they reach out to you? What are they going to gain from it? They're the three essential frameworks I'd put down. If you can focus on starting with them and then progressing into the later two, which are a bit more advanced, which is frictionless funnel. So essentially having a curated WhatsApp or lead gen form that then is funneled through an automation system. And that will do the follow-up. So that is the last two. So really the last two are a bit more advanced, and it's about curating your funnel, curating the customer process. So when they first come in with the lead form, how they're followed up with, how quickly they're followed up with, which is something I'll get onto, all of the systems in place. So after you have your essential methods, it's important to go over why ads fail. Okay. So the first one here, if I just move myself out of the way, being low quality leads. All right. Now you get that a lot with Meta. Often with Meta, people will have a bad experience because essentially what they've done is they've either not done some of the stuff I touch on later, which is purchasing data or using data sets or already having data sets or already having a pixel, basically not taking advantage of the algorithm correctly. And unfortunately with the algorithm, if it gets a taste for the wrong thing and you're not nimble and quick and able to change it, it's going to be a disaster because it will thrive at that wrong thing. It will think it's correct, and unfortunately, you might have a problem. So low quality leads, high cost per lead, and per conversions, they're probably going to be the three main reasons why you lose your lead gen clients, because you cannot get them results because of these categories. Okay, so each one can be solved with different solutions. The low quality, you really want to segregate. However, it is important that you do not ignore volume. I mean, volume can get you out of any mess. Okay, so let me just touch on them quickly. So low quality leads, all right? Ads targeting the wrong people, wrong audience, and offers that are basically irrelevant to the people you're speaking to. High cost per lead, being poorly optimized ads, funnels, whatever it may be, just making it to where it's not profitable for the business to continue to pay you and to continue to try get this. Poor conversions. Now, the problem you might run into with conversions is if you're running, say, lead gen campaigns for clients, you are not in control of their sales cycle, their sales system, how they nurture. You could upsell it potentially, and that's always there. But when you don't have the control, this is where you need to be careful when you're doing your video pitches. So if you're on a video call or in person, don't just tell to someone that you know it's going to be a shit show, because if they come for a month, you're going to have stress, the money won't be worth it, and you're not going to get any further, you know? Anyway, that is just a couple of points there. Let me jump quickly into the 5-step lead system. Right now, I'm just going to put myself over there so I'm not in the way. So the 5 core things you want in your lead gen ads when you're trying to get leads for local businesses or online businesses, whatever it may be, when you're trying to get them new customers, essentially, right? They want bums on seats. They want people coming in and either looking at their product, buying their product, looking at their service, buying their service, recommending their service. There's so many things that they would look for, and you just need to get them in front of, obviously, your clients. So number one being audience. So targeting examples. Is it a local area? The data sets. Do you have a lookalike audience? Have you bought the data set already? These are things I'll touch on later. Your offer being, is it a weak offer? Is it an empty offer? Or is it strong and precise? Because if you have clarity, it will beat any form of techie system you put in. If you can just clearly speak to the people who you are trying to help in a way that resonates with them, you will get the results you're after. Ad creative. I cannot emphasize enough how raw, authentic content, and I'll have some examples that I've used and had a lot of success with, is brilliant on this mobile first realm that we're kind of advertising on, especially with Meta, because obviously with Meta, it's twofold. You've got Facebook, you've got Instagram. The vast majority of users are on their phone. So it's important to optimize for that. And then your chat flow and your follow-up, these are the more advanced things I kind of touched on earlier. This is just how you remove the friction and you guide your customer through the process. And then the follow-up is just something that I recommend everybody does. Being consistently persistent will do a bunch for you. I gave you like days, Ryan. So basically, if you've got to a stage with a client and it hasn't gone further, follow up with them same day, week later, 2 weeks, month, 6 months, yearly, whenever, you know. You'll be surprised by how many things come back around to you if you can just be patient, especially, for example, with the industry that I'll be talking on, my industry of dentistry. The tricky thing with dentists is you'll have the principal dentist, who's the most skilled operator in the business. Twofold is now also the operator. So the highest skilled employee is also the business manager. When are they going to have time? Following up with these people, showing your intent, and you know, cutting to the chase, not following up with some bullshit saying, listen, I know you're busy, I'm just following up. You know, simple as that. It'll get you paid in the long term. Next up being the speed in relation to conversion. So this study here, it's a Harvard study, I believe. There's two examples. So on this one here, you'll see 391% improvement on lead conversion rate if it's within 60 seconds. And then you will see how it goes down quite incrementally over the period. Now, I know for a fact as well, you're 21 times more likely to convert if it's within the first 5 minutes. So 210% is apparently supposed to be here. Or 21 times more likely, I guess it wouldn't be a percentage. Anyway, this is just to highlight either have an automatic system in place, or the other option is you are the person, or you pay someone who gets in contact with people immediately. Okay, it is key for getting the conversion of these leads. If you've gotten people to go through the hassle of seeing your content, seeing your ad, filling out their information, you want to convert them. Okay, of course, the whole conversion, if you're just running lead gen ads, it's not on you, but most of it is. And it's about getting that balance right and being able to help people. So speed is a huge proponent, something that I really have to highlight here. Now, we have our 4 or 5 steps. So step number 1, I mentioned this earlier, audience. You've got 3 options. You've got your local targeting. So if you're a local business just trying to get footfall in, that is simple. You're just going to do your radius and you're going to blast brand awareness essentially to build up a data set, but also have people and create a bit of a buzz around you, you know, being your local superhero, your local rock star, someone whose face is recognized. Lookalike audiences, again, which is finding new potential customers that are similar to your best existing customers. So you need a data set for that. And that's what I touch on in the third point, which is that you either want to have a lead list already that you've bought from Upwork, you can buy from Fiverr, you can buy from a load of sources. You could scrape it yourself, which is an alternative option I can make a video on later. And then also you can build up with ads. So you can run ad campaigns and collect data and invest in your offer essentially, because you're investing in your data. And then once you have that, then you go forward with the essential criteria to actually get in front of the right people, the people who will be basically your custom avatar, your client avatar, the person that you've said to your business, your client, hey, here's who we're going after. Here's the people, our dream clients, who we want to work with. How do we get in front of them and tell them what we're all about? Step number 2 being the offer, okay? A weak offer is vague. It is generic, right? Strong offers have high value points, right? Clarity, again, beating the cleverness. And then coming down to the examples. Free 30-minute consultation, 10-day social media calendar, 7-step guide. You know, there's so many different options, but it's just important that what you say to these people aligns and resonates with who they are and things they want to happen currently in their life. Third being add creative examples. So here's 2 creative examples from a client that are almost generic. They are just raw, authentic pictures taken within the business, and then 2 options for how they were then targeted. So one is a bit fancier. It's using italics. It's using bold text. It's using a bit more persuasion. And then the other one is a bit more direct to the point. Don't scroll past this. And then when they hit the see more, it's a little bit of information. And then basically authority, get offer, keeping it simple and then taking them to the next destination. Step 4 being the flow. Okay, so I touched on the advanced options. This is one of the advanced options. As you can see, 1 through 6 here. All right, 1 being that they initially come through. So we have our top of funnel and we have our bucket basically getting dipped in. So we have that top list, and essentially throughout this funnel, throughout this pyramid, we want to get to the people who are most likely to benefit from our service or product. And then we kind of want to filter out those who would be tire kickers or, penny, penny, penny pinchers. There's different ways to do it. The important things that I would put here would be the auto response and the automations you can build in softwares, as well as personal follow-up if it's a more high-end service. They're the two things that are really going to drastically change things. Then into the follow-up. So again, so much money will be made in your follow-up. So are you going to either send an instant message, a voice note? If you have them on WhatsApp, a voice note is brilliant because you can convey tone so much better. And it also shows you've put in a bit more effort. Now be careful, don't send a 12-minute voice note. Or obviously calling. Calling is brilliant, cut to the chase. Share more wins as a follow-up method as well. So letting them know, hey, our client Paula was able to make 20 grand this month by adding in this one simple thing. Would you be interested in discussing how we could apply to your business? Yes or no? Just sharing wins with a simple call to action, as opposed to like following up constantly saying, hey, you ready? You got the money? You're not going to get anywhere, man, Anyway, reminders or gifts. So a reminder, reminding people they've booked an appointment, reminding people they've given you information, getting it across in their head that this is something they want. And then gifts are brilliant method for following up with people. Someone taught it to me years ago. There's one of Kevin Hart talking to a wall that always does well. I don't know why it does well. Maybe because it doesn't have the sales approach. People feel it's a bit more natural. But yeah, gifts are another phenomenal metric. I'm just seeing everything is getting very dark for me right now, which isn't ideal. So my lights are obviously going to die. So I'm going to wrap this up quickly. In conclusion, this step-by-step system covers the key elements of running meta ads to generate high-quality leads, blah, blah, blah. All of that is to say, if you want to make money, if you want to get your clients results, there are three main things to focus on: your who, your what, and your why. And then you've got advanced steps that will help you. They're not necessary. You can do it manually, but it's really just automations and using AI to benefit from that. But these are all simple things. And in a world of AI where more and more people are going to be generating content with AI, this will continue to stand out because it is real, it is authentic, and it is human. People want to deal with people. People buy from people they like. All right. How are they going to like someone when it is just a fake robot garbage slop constantly? Anyway, that is a separate topic. If you still need help, I have a free school community that I am a week into on it. There's two main elements. So one is that there will be an accountability side of things. So for anything that I've ever really observed, it tends to be the people who do well are those who do with others. There's two things. There's one is that I made in my first video. Essentially, if you tell someone about your goal, you are 60% more likely to achieve it. But if you go through the process with someone else, you are 95% more likely collectively, which is the American Association of Psychiatrists, on long-term goals. And I don't know how big their sample size was, but it was an interesting statistic I found. If you need help, the link will be at the top of the description. If you have any questions, leave a comment, text me on Instagram, text me on Twitter, text me here, text me anywhere. And yeah, have a good day, man.